Hey guys, Kim Barrett here. Great to have you all watching this short video today, and I've managed to snag the time of someone who's an amazing mentor to me and really been helping me out lately, get a great understanding and really just honing my skills in the internet marketing and online marketing space, and that's Carolina Millan. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Oh, you did?
I've been learning Spanish from my girlfriend, so I'm picking these up. Um, so Carolina, you're at the moment you're helping me out. You're mentoring me, especially in the space of personal branding, and you're doing amazingly online. And I just wanted to try to get an understanding for some of my subscribers and the people that are learning from me. Is how did you start out? Is the first question I wanted just to ask you.
How I started out? It was about, let me see, well, 7 years ago. And it was in 2008. I was fresh out of university, just starting my first job. And of course, before that, I had never been exposed properly to any entrepreneurship opportunities.
Yeah.
Perhaps an MLM here and there. Nothing very exciting. But it was that year that I was at this job and realized that even though the job was fun, it was not something I wanted to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Especially the getting up early and having a schedule and restricted holidays and all of that stuff that for me was deal breaker. So it was around September that year, after 6 months in my job, that somebody introduced me to another MLM opportunity. I had heard about MLM before, but I was too young and I just didn't get it. And this time around, the way she introduced it to me, it seemed interesting. So I got on board. The bad part was this was September 2008. And then there was this crisis. I don't know if you remember, but there was a financial crisis that month,
Yeah.
just when I got involved in this business. So it's like nobody was interested in investing. The currency exchange went through the roof. So what initially for me was a relatively low investment, because with the dollar going up, it was terrible. So, and I invested $1,000, and in my currency that turned into 700,000. So it was a lot of money. It was like a full salary for me,
Wow.
a month's salary, and yeah, it was tough at the beginning. I think I signed up 2 people. I lost a lot of money with the auto ships and all that crap. The products began to expire because this was a health MLM, so you had to get the products every month, and they started to expire because I couldn't eat them. They were terrible. And then one day, like maybe a year after, me thinking that maybe one day was going to work, I grabbed all the products and threw them in the dumpster. And that's when I decided, okay, I'm going to quit this thing. Before that, because it wasn't working, what she told me to do, make the list of people you know and all your friends and classmates and colleagues and harass them, that wasn't working. So that's when I researched on Google, how do you properly do network marketing? And that's when I stumbled into people like Mike Dillard, Ann Sieg. This was early 2009, late 2008. And I started buying their courses, and that's how I started learning. Okay, this is how I should be doing it. I should be branding myself. I should be on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, all this stuff. I wasn't really using them, and that's how I started. I started adding some value, following their advice, posting every day, sharing content. I started my own blog as well because they said you should have a blog. Okay, I'll have a blog. You should do video. Okay, I'll start doing video. I was really shy about that. And then slowly I started gaining a following. And a couple years later, 2010, that's when I had a few consulting clients for social media services. And that's how I quit my job. It was mid-2010. That's how I got started.
That's awesome. And I think it's really important when you say that, is that so many people come into the industry of whether it's building a brand on social media or whether it's internet marketing, and they go, oh, it's going to happen overnight. I'll post every day for a week or 2 weeks, but you said that a couple of years later, and
Couple of years.
Yeah, exactly. And suddenly most people, and it always seems to happen, they think that you're an overnight success, and it's like overnight success takes about 5 years, 5 years of work.
Exactly. And I still wasn't a success. I mean, I had just managed to make enough money to replace my job income, which wasn't like a whole lot of money, but it was enough for me to say, okay, finally I'll be able to manage my time and blah blah blah. But I mean, it was a success for me. Of course, success at the end of the day is what you define. You know, it's up to what success means to you. It's not defined by others. You know, it's your dreams, your desires, whatever you want to do. And for me at that point, it was okay. I need to be in charge of my time, because sometimes I want to go to a marketing event and I have to ask for permission to my boss, and he won't always allow me. And that was very frustrating. I remember I was interviewed because I was doing really well on Twitter here locally in Chile, and I was interviewed by a magazine in a very important newspaper here, and they had to do a photo shoot for the magazine to be printed, and my boss didn't give me permission to go to the photo shoots. And then the magazine came out, and there are these other girls on the cover except me, and I'm like, oh, why am I not on the cover? Because I couldn't go to the photo shoot. So all those little things were really important for me to have that freedom, you know. So that was like my first step, my first small success.
That's awesome. So I just have a couple questions for you. I don't want to keep you too long. I know you've got a lot of stuff coming up, so I just wanted to ask a few questions. But what was for you? What kept you going in that time when you were working for those few years? What made you not, you know, when it gets tough and people find it all the time, it's like, oh, I've been working, I've done it for a year now, a year and a half. What made you keep going, or what did you say to yourself? What was the process for you to go, oh, look, I'm just going to stick to it and continue going?
For me, it was myself. The thing is, by mid-2010, I had invested a lot of money. I had bought a lot of courses. I had a lot of knowledge in my head, so I knew that the stuff worked because I saw the people making it work. So I knew that the only block was me. It wasn't that the things didn't work. It was me not taking enough action. So I wasn't in that situation where this crap doesn't work. I'll throw it away. But it was more like, damn, why am I not making it work? You know, because it works.
Yeah.
So that's what kept me going, knowing that it was 100% up to me and not an external thing. So it was like my own struggle with myself until I finally took more action than I was at the moment. I was just in that little comfort zone and decided to get out of it.
Awesome. And so with everything that's going on, 2015, what do you think is, for someone who's looking to brand themselves online, someone who's doing online marketing, what would be like one or two really important things that they should be doing this year?
They should, if they're not doing video yet, definitely start doing videos. It's for me, it's the most powerful branding tool that I have. It's people watching my videos. It's not just reading my blog posts or my Facebook posts. It's video, because that really connects you with people. And if you think about it, you know, nowadays I was reading a study, and people now, they text more than they actually call on the phone. Like, people spend, for the first time, I think, at least locally here. And I was like, okay, people don't want to talk anymore. But surprisingly enough, they still want that human contact. So they still value video more over written communication. And that's one really important thing. For me, I was really camera shy, so it took me a while to do videos and speak up and look into the camera, because I was really shy. So if anybody really wants to start branding themselves, start doing videos and make them valuable, you know. And how do you make them valuable? It's so simple. You just read a book. I recently did a video series. I did like 4 or 5 videos just from 2 pages of a book or something, because there's just so much information out there. And in the end, you're doing other people a favor. They don't really have to read the book if you go ahead and make a video review for them. So people will want to consume your content if you're good. So that's one thing. And the social platforms, social networks, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever. That's how you communicate with people now. And everybody's there, no matter how old or young. Your audience, your potential audience, your target market, most of them will be there. If they're not there, find out where they hang out. You know, maybe they're hanging out somewhere else. You know, maybe your target market are gamers, and there is a huge forum for gamers, and they're not on Facebook. Okay, go join those forums. Just do whatever it takes to reach more people. And personally, for me, I do get most of my business, most of my clients through those platforms. I don't do a whole lot of paid advertising.
Yeah.
It is the best way to scale, because free stuff, you can only do so much. You cannot scale up the free stuff, but you can maximize it. I mean, I haven't even maxed out what I could be doing with free marketing. Free marketing, you know what I mean? It's not free because it takes time.
Yeah.
It takes time. But if you're in a low budget or whatever, that's what you should be doing. You should be out there adding value.
Awesome. And I just have two more questions for you. The first one is, obviously I'm doing coaching with you as well, so I'm getting mentored. And I know you don't. It's not like you say you've learned from 1,000 different people. There's only a handful of people that you talk from and that you speak about. When you were starting learning, how many people were you? Was it just one mentor at a time? Because so many people go, "Oh, I need to learn from that person now. I need to learn for that," as opposed to just focusing in. What did you find work for you?
Well, for me, like most people, I did bounce from one training to another, from one mentor to another, until I found people that I felt more connected to.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you watch people's videos or you buy their trainings and you're just not interested in what they have to say, or maybe they have some really really good valuable things to share, but you just don't connect with them. So I think it is important to test a few things and not be too close-minded, but at the same time bouncing from one product to another, one mentor to another, without first mastering what that one mentor is teaching you. That is a big mistake that a lot of people make, and not just with mentors, but also with businesses. I get, and it makes me kind of sad, because I get people who join my team in certain opportunities, and then they're like very pumped, and I'm like, yeah, okay, so watch this, follow this, do that. They don't do anything. Then a couple months later, they PM me on Facebook to pitch me some brand new thing they just joined, and I'm like, but you didn't even make a single sale in this other thing. You invested a lot of money. You've done nothing, and now why do you think this other one is going to work? If it's you clearly who is not making things work. So that it is important to focus. Be focused. Choose one traffic strategy. Choose one free traffic strategy. If you're going to do video. If you're going to do blogging or video blogging. Choose a couple of mentors. See if you connect with them. If you're not really learning what you thought you would, okay, fine. Just don't do stuff you don't love. That's something that I've heard a lot of times. I've been told a lot of times that's also what pushed me to quit my job and all that. And I was watching an old video from Gary Vaynerchuk where he says, stop doing crap you don't love. If you hate what you're doing, quit. And that's really important. That includes everything, your job or a training program that you're following, and you think, well, I invested this much money in this training program, so I should follow through, but you're forcing yourself, then yeah, it's not the way to go. So focus and do what you love.
Awesome. And just one last question for you. What's something, either a book, I love reading lots of books and audiobooks, or a video you've watched lately that you've just gone, yeah, this has got some amazing stuff in it. What's been something that's really hit the spot for you lately?
A book?
Yeah.
There's a book that I read recently. It's called The Magic of Thinking Big. The author is David Schwartz, I think. Where did I leave the book? I had it somewhere here. But just look it up, The Magic of Thinking Big. It's a book, it's from the 50s, I think. But that kind of teaching just doesn't get old. It's still relevant to this day. And yeah, that book is definitely a must for anyone struggling with mindset, for anyone struggling with, thinking that success is for other people, that it's not for them, that they have to look down, that, that they don't deserve something, or that they're not capable of doing big things. And it's all in your head. It's all about thinking. It's all about what you think and not so much what you do. You got to think first. and then do. That's definitely one book I recommend about that. And another one that I was starting, I didn't finish it yet. It's similar. It's called The Magic of Believing. It's, again, it talks about believing in yourself, believing in what you can do, with real life examples of people achieving things. So that's the interesting thing about these books, is that the people who write them, they don't just talk about theory. They have real life examples of people achieving big things. So there are two books that I strongly recommend.
Awesome. Well, that's everything I had. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. I've got some amazing value from you, and I mean that's how I found out about you, was from your videos. So obviously you're doing, and we're in a similar opportunity as well. So obviously it's doing really well, and yeah, I really appreciate your mentorship and coaching so far.
Awesome. I appreciate you as a student as well, and I look forward to seeing more success stories.
Yeah.
So keep at it.
Beautiful.
Great talking to you.
Thank you. You too.
You're welcome.